we weren't really sure if we were going to get to this third map after the first map went pretty easily towards IMT, but TSM, after a rough start on Icebox, ends up turning things around and picking up a big dub in the second map to force us to this point, and a large part of that was off the back of heroics by both Drone and Wardell. Van Silly, it still ended up being kind of close. There was a chance there towards the tail end for IMT to keep it alive, but they just couldn't quite muster up enough.
Yeah, this is where you can start breathing a bit here, at least for TSM fans, into this third map. We're trying to continue to get our energy into the other one. It was very, very back and forth, where even moments where you're thinking Immortals could turn things over on these eco rounds. But again, I think the man of the hour, looking at how he's played throughout these qualifiers from open to close, has been this very man with the operator Wardell. Overkills onto JC Stani onto that one. He's been playing to perfection to help TSM in these close rounds, or in these rounds there where they desperately needed the kills and the rounds and the victory. Let's see if that continues into a third map here on Bind. But overall, looking at this head-to-head in terms of the scoreline, you definitely see that damage coming in more into TSM side, into the damage favor.
Only slightly, but enough so that you can point it out.
Yeah.
You know, it's 13-9, but it could have been worse. You know, IMT was really close to bringing that one to overtime. It just really came down to, honestly, those early picks. I want to see the number of first bloods from that series.
Yeah.
For Wardell. Like, I think that's what's important to me. In fact, let's see if I can pull it up here over on the side. Wardell had 6 first bloods, but at the same point in time, JC Stani had 7. I think the difference, though, is I want to see the battle between the two of them. I want to see how often did Wardell actually have JC Stani's number. It felt like a lot.
Yeah.
The top performer for the side of IMT is going to be Shot Up. Wardell on the opposite side, 23 and 21 respectively for each of them. 1.4 KD for Shot Up, 1.9 for Wardell. 254 combat score compared to 299 for Wardell. Chemicals, though, was really the surprising piece. Chemicals swapping to Sage, while it was obviously beneficial to the team, it felt like Chemicals couldn't play the game the way that Chemicals likes to play, especially given that Chemicals was top performer for IMT on the first map as Killjoy.
You've seen some rounds, and we even mentioned it during the broadcast. It's like, okay, well, he's gonna have to res instantly. Okay, he's gonna have to heal instantly. He's been running back and forth, just trying to keep his team up,
so that alive.
Exactly, and that's good enough in itself for the job that he had to do there for Immortals at that point. So yeah, maybe he's not able to get into that frag department, but the walls to actually move up to try to get the plant, he's gonna be that selfless agent and a selfless player to allow for the other ones, such as the lineups with the Viper from Rossi to be able to get some kills. As for JC Stani, he still did a good job with those entries as well. But now it comes down to trying to figure out what's going to happen in this third map, right? The third map at this point going to be buying at the for this series. And looking at it before here, Mark, we tried to guess what map we could see, and we just mentioned it before the break. This is where we could talk about a little bit more in depth, like, what has TSM prepared now going into this game where they feel so confident that they could play against Immortals, who's been very good on this map before?
Again, key word, though, before.
Yes.
You know, we're looking historically at this team. And while, sure, they've had wins since they've made the roster change, if I'm not mistaken, it's just different. And also, what has happened since that time?
Yep.
I think the last time we saw them play Bind with this roster was more towards the start of April. And I know you're thinking like, oh, well, that's like not that long ago. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
But teams are making changes at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
And obviously, as patches come through and the meta develops over time, teams are going to adjust.
Yep.
So who knows if we're going to see Rossi play Sage here? Who knows if we're going to see JC Stani go ahead and play as Astra?
Yep.
Like, we don't really know what we're going to get out of this one. So there's definitely some question marks for IMT. I feel like potentially for TSM, it's more predictable for agent composition, whereas IMT is still a question mark. And we also have talked about this before. One of the things that IMT did really well while Nature was on the team is that aggressive shower control on the defensive side. Are we going to see that?
And I do agree with you. That's changed a bit, right? Because when they were aggressive on that showers control, that was back when even Nature was in there and you had kind of like a Raze and an Omen Paranoia combo. But when you look at Immortals more recently, as you mentioned, if it's going to be an Astra and it's going to be a Sage into the lineup, they actually didn't have a composition that had flashes, right? It was an Astra, Raze, Faye, Sova, Sage, and Cypher. So trying to fight back for the map control, or at least for Showers, is a little bit more different, where now it's going to be more Astra using that ability to try to slow things down instead of push back, right? And for TSM side, that's the question mark too, because they had Brax last time playing on Bind when they were trying to work towards the towards that map. He was playing on that kill. Sabroso is trying to take that Showers control on his own as a Phoenix as well. Didn't know if we have really good results or not, but even before then, he also played Sky onto this very map. So there's a potential where, looking at TSM, they could revert back to that now that you're seeing, for example, on Ascent, where he's able to do there you go. He's able to do a little bit more on his own with the Sky as a lurk player. And now we're going to see if he's going to try to do it on Showers with the 3 flashes, the Trailblazer. Fight back where, again, for the defenders of Immortals, they might not have that answer. Look at the full composition so far. If JC Stani is going to be playing an Astra, that means there's no flashes for this team. That means somebody like a flasher like Sabrosa that would like to lurk towards Showers could definitely do that on his own. But bring now the Astra in for Cutler, bring a Sova at the same time for Drone. This is a type of lineup that I like to see. I think in the later meta right now, I like this double initiator setup, not only for TSM, but I just like it overall. Just because I feel that right now, with a Sky in your lineup, and I don't even see Soulcast playing with Liquid, the mind games that you can play when you're lurking as an Astra. Are you going to flash just around the corner? Are you going to flash a little bit later when it comes out? Are you going to fake flash when you're going to try to take the corner? And on that 1v1 duel, there's just so much to think about, where if you're trying to shoot the bird down, but it gets flashed right away, you're full blinded, you lose the fight. So I think players and the community and the pro scene are starting to see the relevance of having a Sky in the lineup, not necessarily only for information, but for the mind games, for the map control.
And it'd be interesting to see how well Rossi can do as Sage. Again, we've seen the responsibility change hands across our first 2 matches, occasionally when you're looking at the Sage play. But we've only seen Rossi play Viper in this series thus far. This will be the first time we've seen Rossi play a different agent. Kind of curious to see how that one's going to work out. As we transition over to our 3rd and final map in the series, it's Bind time. We have to determine a victor, and we'll see who it's going to end up being, as we've got Immortals starting on the defensive side. Chemicals will be playing over towards the B site. We're going to see some play towards Showers early on. We've talked about this before. Nice shock dart right to the face of Sabrosa. He's down to 38 HP, and again, as the Sky doesn't have the ability to heal himself, so that one stings.
Yep. And how do you fight back? You don't have any flashes, no paranoia. It's a boom butt and a recon dart. So having a Silva playing towards the A side so far, if they want to play a 3-player stack towards A, they seem to know that this lurk is always going to happen. Yes, they heard a shock dart, but they didn't know there was 2 players. So TSM could still try to play with that around the further rounds. But a Trailblazer into Hookah, you're looking to see at the same time an Owl Drone towards the B side. It's about to explode here.
Oh, I love this. They're going to go ahead and pop themselves up with the wall, potentially over top of the smoke to try and deny things, but they can't quite get a line of sight to what they needed. So that ends up backfiring just a bit. But Chemicals is here hitting shot after shot. That's 2 kills for Chemicals, and that gives the team the advantage they needed. As Drone goes towards the backside of sight with the Frenzy, there's targets to the right and to the left, holding to the left currently. The Frenzy just gets out of control, and it allows Gangsta to get into a better position, and things are quickly going the direction of IMT. The Flash tries to go out, Guiding Light, but it's killed immediately, and Sabrosa spamming away, looking for an opening. Nice shot, but not really going to matter as the rest of the team survives. 3 players up, and they're going to give the spike over to Gangsta as well. Another charge closer to getting that ult early in the game.
Yeah, a nice bait and switch there for Chemicals and for Rossi towards that B side. That wall that came up and they dropped Rossi first, that's why you had Chemicals playing that time angle. I'm pretty sure they didn't see him. Look at that. They were both aiming at at Rossi, and Chemicals, once the wall broke, he was able to get 2 kills of his own. I like the idea of a drone. He was just behind the boxes, went through the Owl drone, so he was just trying to play the off angle towards the entrance of the site. Having a Frenzy at that close of a range could potentially, usually win the fight, but it doesn't pay off, and Gangsta capitalizes on that one. And just that early shock dart that we mentioned before here, Bach, that was pretty much a detriment that kind of foiled the plans of TSM trying to get into any type of execution, because Sabrosa was already so low on HP.
Wall comes out early on long. If they wanted to go for orb control, it's out of the question, as Gap is broken through that ice pretty quickly. And it looks like they're going to try and grab it on the other side instead. There are 3 players currently playing B-side defense. You've got Raze, Sage, and Cypher all here. Chemicals, Rossi, and Shot Up. Shot Up is inside tube, or at least was, now has backed off and rotated out. They are in rotate play like setups right now. You've got all of TSM on long. They have the ability to make a portal play towards A if that's what they decide to do. With 50 seconds left, they've still got plenty of time to make that decision as well. The dart's going to come out and give away the position. There's the orb now finally being picked up. Slow orb coming out. Flash to go down potentially here from Sabrosa. It does look like they're going to commit, so this team is moving in fast, but look at this. They're just running all the way over towards Elbow. An interesting decision. That's put the spike inside Elbow, but what do they do with this one? They're going to have to fight in multiple directions. I'm trying to figure out what the eventual play was there. But maybe I'm just too boomer to understand. Alex, I'll leave that one to you. The idea of going through Elbow to the backside, I guess I kind of get it.
Well, so far at this point, when you see like an explosion happening towards the site, what usually does happen is that you have a player wanting to fall back towards Elbow, right? So you're basically gambling at this point for TSM, say, okay, we're going to push towards Elbow. We have a numbers advantage just around the corner. If we actually do get a kill, that's a weapon upgrade. And then if they continue towards spawn site, they could also cut off rotations while you still had a lurker towards the octagon. So they could fall back with 30 seconds left and actually play it more slowly and then just play the pickoff game into the B site. But when they realized there was nobody there all the way towards spawn, that's where that question mark came out. They were lined up for a double swing from the spawn side, from the B site into the spawn side, and an easy sweep from Immortals.
Yeah, but the other side of it is, too, as I'm looking at the spike in that position, that's when it gets really interesting, to say the least. Wardell able to get a kill here on this site. Yet again, Sabrosa suffering a brunt of the damage over in showers, down to 13 HP. Didn't even see anybody yet. And he's low on HP. Shop's around the corner. Shop's got a great shot with the Sheriff, but the bonus isn't working out so well for IMT here. Again, very low HP for Sabrosa. There's at least no potential there, but they're going to have to get past the rest of the team, and Sabrosa's really just there lining up flashes for support, but there's the shot right to the leg of Sabrosa. It's all it takes as the double swing comes through, and he somehow threads the needle. Rossi, last player alive for IMT. Just looking to do some additional damage. Again, this was the bonus round for IMT.
Yeah, he could definitely make some damage right now because the oh no, I'm not after that. So he's forced to push out. But very well done there for Drone to make sure that he uses all of his kit and secures all the areas and takes the upper hand for TSM from map control and information control. So that recon dart force out Rossi out of position. Decent, okay. 2 kills going on right now for their bonus round. They have a full gun round here. You still have somewhat of a slight bonus for TSM. Just for Sabrosa, what's going to be the buy? Are we dropping him a Sheriff? Are we dropping him a Spectre? But Wardell is not going to be the one that's going to drop it because he's got... Basically, he wants to bring the op back. And it's going to be Drone that's going to buy the full rifle here for Sabrosa. So let's see if this pays out. It's going to be a couple of utilities for Astra towards his B-side control. A recon dart at the same time, but Sabrosa is already at the point.
Sabrosa has had a rough go of it in showers this far. This time, backup is there, and Cutler is actually the one who suffers a brunt of the damage, so the heal can come through. Bringing Cutler back up to full HP. Trailblazer pop. The dog's going to go out, and oh, that puts that player in an awkward position. But still, Gangsta swings out and punishes Wardell. Now, the spike is on site, and it's still heavily in favor of TSM. 4-on-2.
Flank coming.
Yeah, but they've got their eyes peeled on it.
Yep.
They've got short watched. Rossi's going to try to come through from short, but you've got Drone watching it. And Hayes now puts the turret down, making it that much harder to come through from this position. Nice dink shot through the corner of the wall, but it doesn't do that much damage. Actually, it doesn't even fully rip his armor away, which is definitely going to be disappointing when the damage report comes out. Chemical's the last player standing, just eating flashes. Here comes another one in a minute. Yep. It actually flies into the wall, so it doesn't really do too much. Sabrosa will get the last kill on the round. Seeker's available, Hunter's Fury, and Bladestorm for the attacking side of TSM. Hunter's Fury and Neural Theft for IMT.
That's right. So much needed round there for TSM just to make sure that they cushion their economy, and good round meaning that they didn't lose that many players right on that previous round. Only losing one player. They had a shorter bye with the force up that they had to do on that previous round. That could have been a round where Immortals could come back into the game early and try to take the lead here on the defender side. But you see the bye coming out, despite the abilities that we have from Gangsta and from Neural Theft of Chemicals. We still have an Ares come out from Gangsta where he could actually control this up towards the orb side. So the Owl Drone's going to come out where he could, or maybe not, sorry. I thought he was going to go for the Owl Drone into Fountain where he could maybe ult at the same time. But they're just going to try to just battle out for control towards Long B to start.
Trailblazer again getting some information for TSM. Shot up. As good as his Sheriff has been from that distance, it's difficult. Cutler able to find the punish and a follow-up from Cutler as well. Great shower control thus far. The backup is in from Sabrosa. And the eco round not really panning out so well for IMT. The Sheriff's not producing much success, minimal damage being dealt. Gangsta will at least spam away at one. That's Cutler going down, so some vengeance for his fallen comrades. Shock Dart might be right on the money, too. It is. Wow. That's great damage. Hit two of them, and I think it hit a third, too, but very minimal on the third target. Well done. But there's targets all around, and they're going to go for the heal as well, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. The damage that's done to Sabros is the only one that can't be erased, but hold on. Gangsta's making this cost money.
All right, at least he might secure the round here with that Nanostorm coming down. He's, like you said, still trying to make things expensive. Those 2 kills is huge. He has that Hunter's Fury still that he doesn't want to use right now. And there you go. Finally, that ends the demise, but it looked pretty close at some point where if we're a little bit too confident right now for TSM and overextending too much, it could have definitely been punishing there. But it seems as though we did have the Owl Drone come out towards Long B. They were trying to get that control so they could eventually pinch into the teleporter, into showers at the same time. Some of the common things that you usually see with an eco or a save. If it's not going to be a pinch from short A into sands from hookah, then it's also going to be teleporter into showers at A main. Knowing that Sabrosa always plays towards that round, towards that spot at the beginning of the round, Sabrosa read it, saw it coming, got a 2K on that side. And TSM, they're still in a lead. They're still healthy in the economy. And now we have the full gun round here of the first half.
There's the Seeker's ult popped by Sabrosa to give away the position. Shot up whose top APC has to be careful. And now they're going to start moving their way in. Falling off, switching to the rocket, falling back up. Can't quite connect. Wardell was there with the op. In the meantime, there was a kill coming out as well on the Hunter's Fury. You've got JC standing in position. Oh, it's so awkward. He runs out of ammo. Wardell just jumping around to dodge the damage that was impending. The last remaining player is Chemicals. That was so uncomfortable to watch, but it is going to be another round for TSM.
It's like one of those battles where, like, in the kung fu movies or the cops and robbers, where they shoot and run out of bullets. They both look down into the guns, and it was like throwing the weapons away, and they're going to try to fist fight. And it was basically that sidearm for Sabrosa that came out a lot faster versus his opponent. So continuing here versus JC Stani, right? It seems to be that head-to-head, even though they're playing different agents into this map. They've been going at it against each other throughout this series. This round, though, you see an early camera to come out. They were trying to fight early, and even you forced out the Hunter's Fury on that previous round. TSM's looking pretty good here on this half-buy versus Immortals. Look how fast it is towards the site.
Oh, the fast play is backfiring just a bit as Chemicals from Hookah gets a couple of quick kills on the Sheriff. And there's backup as well in Hookah. It's going to be their Sage. So Rossi able to help out with some heal. Nice flash coming out from Sabrosa to try and keep them at bay towards spawn. But he gets pulled in with the gravity well, and he's trying so hard with the Boombot and the Sheriff combined. And now the spike is down, and they're really not in a territory where they can do much about this. That's a rifle pickup as well for Shot Up, who's now sitting backside in such a dangerous position. The camera gives away positions, everything going their way. A massive Thrifty round win for IMT.
So far, that gravity well to the Frost Orb to the Boombot, that's a huge combo right there for Immortals. It shows that they've been practicing that, and it also gives you a quick taste of what it may look like in patch 2.07 when you're actually going to be able to pull defenders or diffusers off the diffuse with the Astra Gravity Well. There's going to be a lot of combos going on with that. Definitely frustrating. I think that was Sabrosa that fell down right at that spot. So yeah, it was a great thrifty there for Immortals. The money is still good here for TSM. But that's a lot of easily upgraded weapons for the defender side, where the economy is definitely skyrocketing. Stonks are up now for Immortals.
TSM definitely wants that one back. IMT, they just played it well. Inside hookah, the fast play on long, and it just backfires. The Gravity Well, we haven't really seen it impact play too much today. That's one of the few times where it's really changed to play, and you mentioned it, just all that utility. It's like, what's he supposed to do? Like, how is he supposed to get away from that one at all? And the Boombot was just icing on the cake. He was already being spammed from multiple angles in that position. It would have been difficult for him to get away to begin with. Now, Hayes does have the ult. Curious to see if we'll get any utility out from the Sova to try and kill it, but it's unlikely, and in fact, it's just a bait play to begin with. They are going to be moving back towards A, but they've already got players in position, and now that they're spotting them out, they can call this one out for what it is. It was a fake, as we've seen from TSM in the past, and they're trying to gain access to the A site. Shot Up is playing inside U-Haul. Player Showers has fallen back. Cosmic Divide coming out, and oh, that's good timing, I guess. Not sure for whom. A's going to throw that molly through. It gets killed, actually, by Shot Up on the other side. There's a bot down as well, so that'll give away his position if he pushes onto the other side. The spike will go down, and it will be a 5-on-4, but with the Cosmic Divide up, it's going to make things a little bit more uncomfortable here for IMT.
Yeah, and there's no ultimates right now for the Pulse plan. They have to try to set things up. They're going to have to play close here towards the U-shaped hallway, and it works at least for Cutler for first blood on that 5 versus 4 retake attempt of Immortals.
Cutler waiting around the corner. There's the res coming out as well. Things are starting to turn in favor of the opposition. Wardell, first shot right on the money, has Tailwind and the ability to get away. If he can hit this next shot, no! He accidentally Tailwinds into the wall. He had the right idea and he almost lined him up. But it doesn't work out that way for TSM as IMT ties things up at 4 apiece. It's an awkward position to find yourself in as Wardell with that op, but he almost made it work.
Almost made it work for sure, and that dash, I mean, if it was left or right, it would have been difficult against Gangsta. He probably could have flicked it over to a nice attempt. If only they were able to get maybe another kill from TSM's side. It would have been, of course, GG already with Wardell winning that one. So that retake was like instant going on there for Immortals, especially with the res, making sure that they take U-shaped hallway control, lamps control, to allow Rossi to get the res. And we see now the value of getting that stage moving on and Rossi playing her at the same time so that JC Stani could actually use or you could actually use the Astra abilities to try to hold back onto the site. He's got the Cosmic Divide into this round, but that Cosmic Divide for the attackers for TSM definitely gave them a sliver of hope.
Tripwire taken out by Trailblazer. Nice shot from Wardell onto Chemicals. And there's a follow-up. JC Stani just caught reloading, standing in the open, wasn't anticipating that play. Shot Up's in the corner, and Wardell says, hey, I didn't win that last clutch. Watch what I can do instead. A 4K on the round as Wardell's looking for the ace. He had 1 bullet left, and he spams it through the smoke. Would have been impressive if he made it happen, but he's still got a chance here. The last remaining player is Gangsta up in heaven, and you know Wardell wants that last kill.
Oh, yeah. Even there, it's like, where's my teammates?
Unbelievable.
Where are my teammates right now for Gangsta? Even like any guided light to get that. There you go. It's an Aldrone, and then even on top of that, a guiding light on the other end. He's stuck in his corner now.
Well, at least he denies the ace, so Wardell won't get it today. That's a desk bound if I've seen one before. Still a solid round from Wardell. Nice shock darts coming out to try to push them back a little bit, do some additional chip damage. But TSM take the lead back 5-4.
Wow, that was impressive there for the entries coming in for Wardell in a round where it seems as though they're counting on Wardell to get the openers, right? Right next to him was only Hayes with a Sheriff. So another one of those rounds where, okay, the rest of them did hit rifles, but they still want to try to activate Wardell. And when he's working the way that he does, that definitely, those are the results that you see. This round, though, we're trying to see what's going to happen for the Immortals. They have a full rifle round because of the eco that they had like 2 rounds ago. A nice little bait as we have shot up hiding in the nebula. And in case they want to take advantage of it here on the short side, he could actually get the execution from up above. The thing is, though, you're looking at this mini-map for TSM. It's going to be very slow once again on a default for the rest of the map and really trying to activate Sabrosa on that shower side, this time with support from Cutler, where they were able to get a first blood a couple of rounds ago.
Shot up, just chilling inside the smoke, has to be careful.
It's so close.
Is that smoke faded? I'm not sure if they saw him or if they were just spam shots, but definitely a bit sketchy there for Shot Up, who's staying in this position. He does not want to move, finally decides it's no longer worth it.
I think that's even one of those moments where you study your opponents, right? You probably think that you have shot out that plays on the top of those boxes, and you're just trying to see if you get a lucky shot. So that was close. He gets the kill, and we have an early Cosmic Divide actually on the defense. Interesting right now.
There's the Seekers coming out. There's the Cosmic Divide as well. But
Wow.
the Boombot gets a kill, as does Hunter's Fury. Everything is piling up in favor of IMT. The last remaining player is spotted out inside the nebula. It's tied up yet again with a flawless round. Barely any damage even dealt to IMT as they look strong in that round against TSM. And now TSM, their money is split. They've got 3 players who can't buy 2 that can. They can go at least with the knives on Wardell. Wardell could even offer a weapon over to Sabrosa, but you know that Wardell wants to stack that cash as much as possible to get the op in a future round.
Yeah, and even then I was questioning what was going on there on that defense, because I saw JC Stunning going to Astro Form, and he's popping out an early Cosmic Divide on the defense, where it's like, okay, well, open door for TSM to move into the site and try to plant, especially on top of the Seekers to try to get information. But you saw there was a method behind the madness of using the information with the recons and going back here with the Boombot and the Hunter's Fury to prevent TSM from even getting a plant. So that was a huge round going in for them. They're tied up 5-5, and we have a buy coming in for TSM because Wardell does have the Blade Storm, and we want to see if Wardell could try to move in for the team and create that space. So looking at this mini map, another quick default, but when it comes into the execution, you definitely want your star player right now for Wardell to dash in and get those openers.
Slow and more methodical play coming out here in round number 11. 43 seconds left, and we really haven't seen too much early on. A little bit of damage dealt to Hazed and to Gangsta, but that's it. Been largely quiet. As they start filtering resources around, you do have Sage playing solo on B.
30 seconds left.
But it looks like it's going to be a play towards A. It's really going to come down to Wardell. No surprise there. Who's got the knives out? Will Wardell be able to open up the site like he did in the previous round with the op? Dashes into position. There's no one top corner. Looking for the players on site. Drone gets the first opener, but Chemicals still in position from this spot. There's the rocket right on the money. Wardell's ult's been canceled. 10 seconds left. They're trying to get out onto B, though. Hayes was able to lurk out, and in the meantime, they were able to get that spike over and across. They do give away the positions with the neural theft, and it all comes down now to Sabrosa, who's got nowhere to go other than this position. He's over towards Octagon. It's going to be difficult. He's got 1 flash left. The guiding light doesn't even go around the corner, actually blinds him more than his opposition. Takes out the pin-headed Chemicals, who had lost his hat, giving him that tiny skull. Typically so hard to shoot, but he aims for the body instead, doesn't matter. Gangsta's there with the follow-up. IMT, they take the lead and make it 6-5 here, coming in at the tail end of the first half. One more round where they can try and get that 7-5. I mean, that's been pretty standard across the series that we've watched today.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a very good series for these two teams so far. We could definitely pull the first map away of how one-sided that was after those 5 rounds that was won in a row from TSM, but definitely since that second map, moving into this third one, they're warmed up. The pressure is still there, but they're thriving off this pressure right now for both of these teams. This last round to go of the half, you don't have anything to work with. We're going with double Guardians, where it's it's still pretty scary to see Sabroso and drone with the Guardian. I don't think it's going to be that much of a round secured for Immortals going into this one as well. So let's see what happens with it. Another slow control towards the showers, towards the A side, but lots of utility to try to prevent it right now for the Immortals, right? You have trap bars, you have a camera, and you also have Astra Stars for a Nova Pulse and potentially a Gravity Well if they are going to try to go aggressively here towards this short A.
Wardell with the Judge, trying to make space. The Seeker's coming out. Oh my god!
No.
It halos him! The shotgun just traces with the pattern. That's so disappointing. JC Stanny kind of gets a little bit lucky there as the damage just goes around him for the most part.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Cutler's picked off one. Rossi gets a trade back. Damage heavy in favor right now of IMT, and with that, they decide, let's get out of here. Drone's on a Guardian, has to be careful. It's down to just Hayes, who's over on the opposite side of the map, at least guaranteeing the spike, but only has a Sheriff.
All right, well, at least he activates a lockdown with that too. So he's trying to run that clock.
Looking for a better position. The drone, or the turret, excuse me, will give away the position. They'll just go ahead and take out the ult. That is now 3 maps, all with 7-5 half scores in favor of the team starting on the defense. It's been that way. It was that way on Ascent in favor of Immortals. After a 5-0 start, Immortals turned it around on 7-5. On Icebox, Immortals went off with 4 rounds before TSM rebounded with 4 of their own, losing 1 before closing out the half with 3 more. And then here on Bind, it was a bit more back and forth, but it does favor Immortals in the end, 7-5 on the defensive side.
Yeah, great utility usage for Immortals too on that defense side to slowly come back into the defender side to take the lead. And I gotta say, man, after those judge shots from Wardell against JC Stani, I think JC Stani still had like 19 armor, like 80 HP after like 7 buckshots being shot there from Wardell, and it looked like it was all on him, but it definitely just painted a silhouette around the wall where you're definitely like, it's one of those moments where in the movies you could just look back into your
Pulp Fiction.
Exactly, right? You just touch yourself, wear these shots, and you're like, all right, well, do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? That said, though, it is going to be a 7-5 pistol round coming in, and it's going to be the defender side, TSM, trying to hold things back.
And the divine intervention scene from Pulp Fiction. Classic. Hayes peeks from heaven, has to be careful. Almost dead, 17 HP left. Obviously can get a heal from Sky. Sky gets into a better position, but they're quickly moving into the site to try to get back on in this retake. You've got Gangsta currently in you. IMT has full control of the site, plus the Sage wall down. It's going to be difficult for them to do much of anything. They try to use the shock darts to gain space. Flying around the corner, though, the pistol work is spectacular. It's come down to now just Chemicals, who's in showers, and how quickly that one fell apart. It felt like that was promising there for IMT, but TSM says no. We're going to retake despite the fact that we've got players low and a player disadvantage.
Yeah, very simple take there towards U-shape, towards the lamps. It's like, okay, let's get into position first. We got the ones with the classic. We're going to bait those players first, have the frenzy move in for the trade after. And it's actually quite nice that both defenders on the post plant, speaking about the attackers of Immortals, got dropped instantly, which made it even harder for the third player to try to hold out towards that front of U-shape hull. So very well done for TSM on that teamwork and capability to get first blood without actually losing players in the process, without forcing any trades, puts them in a good position for this second round.
Placing swarm grenade.
Early play towards showers to try to gain control. The drone moving up short, the turret spotting up the players. Immortals doesn't seem to be too scared of this one. They're just going to throw the wall down, and it can't be killed in time by the SMG. So yet another spike plant. And they've got good positioning as well. They're going to try and lock this one down. They've still got a player sitting outside of showers, too. That's Chemicals, who's still lurking in that spot. So if they can get the timing right, maybe this one will work out. And he's trying to move into position. Maybe does get the backstab onto Cutler, catches him off guard. Rossi is still towards short, or towards you, with the frenzy, but the rest of the team's fallen, and the round goes the way you would expect towards the end. Still 2 kills in a plant, not too shabby given that they didn't spend too much money coming into it.
Yeah, and that was an annoying round there for Hayes. I mean, we stuck on him the whole time. He got pegged by an owl drone. The recon dart came out, then pain shells. He wasn't in a position where he could deny the plant or break the wall early. And by the time he was shooting a couple of clips, well, the wall already fortified itself. And with the timing, JC Stani, I think, was the one that came out and got the kill onto Hayes with the off angle there with the Sheriff in the end. Although 2 rounds in a row, we've tied up the score line. We still have the bonus round that's going to ensue for TSM. The Marshal in the hands of Wardell, and a chance for them to get this bonus and even break the economy again for Immortals.
There's another gravity well. Trying to pull them into showers. Gangsta's going to send out the drone. Gaining up some information in showers. Another Astral Star going down. And a dart going out into Astra as well. They've got a lot set up currently over towards the A site, and it doesn't help them that there was utility used over on the other side. Sabrosa using that pup to spot out long. And knowing that there's no one sitting fountain, that's what's allowing them to spend so much of their resources on this A site. Look how many players are over on A currently for TSM. They've only got 1 player passively playing B. Now, Wardell doesn't quite get the timing right there towards short. Peeks away at the worst possible time. He will hit 1 shot from backside sight, but the defense has crumbled and it's fallen onto Drone. It is just Drone left alive with the Phantom.
30 seconds left.
The rest of the team didn't really have the greatest hardware coming in as a bonus round. Oh, ooh, nice shot, dink shot onto Chemicals. Counter dink coming out through the wall a bit. This shock dart's right on the money. So, oh, maybe not. I thought for sure that would have killed him, but it doesn't really hit where it needs to, and Drone's actually surprised himself. He's like, how did that not connect? The Chemicals survives in that position with 10 HP. It'll be insult to injury if he manages to find the kill here on the Drone.
And that's because he doesn't know where that second player is. So just because of that, running that clock down allows Immortals to get that last kill. If he knew where that second player was, it could have been a different story there. But well done for the last few players of Immortals. And I like that from that attacker side of Immortals too. It's like, okay, let's count the ability. We talked about using the ability and wasting up the ability of the Astro. That's going to be the important play to try to get map control on the attacker side to prevent the delays from happening where you have to run down the clock with 10 seconds left to try to attack. So by forcing the gravity well in the Nebula at the beginning of the round and a second Nebula into showers, they know technically that Hayes will not be running more stars towards that shower side because he has to focus his 2 other stars on defending the short A side from another gravity well and a Nebula on that side. So that opened it up easier for Immortals to get into the site. And with this round, though, it's a half buy for TSM, and then unfortunately cannot connect with these shares.
Stars going out across the site. You've got Wardell, who's on an op, and you better believe Wardell is going nowhere near this one. Wardell's over on A. He decided long ago that the save was necessary. And the remaining players are actually backing off a little bit as well. Hayes, it looked like, was falling back towards spawn a little bit more, but just threw a turret down to add some additional support. And they'll just continue to wait for a peak to potentially come through. I don't anticipate that you'll see one. 5 players alive, and I'd venture that INT would like to do that way.
Yeah, and even then, they don't want to push towards spawn. They don't want to have that economy being broken on their side, especially like you said here, Bach. If it's going to turn out into a flawless, then good enough for them. They could actually try to keep their weapons if they want. They could try to look for those exits if they want. But then for TSM, it's just going to be a little bit easier here just to lose your weapons, not getting exits. And on top of that, save that operator into this round, or the next round, sorry. So Immortals slowly walking away here with the lead, taking it by 2. Where you see that right now, nothing really needs to be purchased from Wardell neither. So they're pretty even on the economy thanks to that. Thanks because he's pretty much saved everything and not used any single cloudburst or whatnot on that last defender round. So with that though, he's posted up towards that B side to look towards Hookah. They're going to have a double initiator to try to get information early towards the towards the fountain side. And if it doesn't pay out, one of them is going to fall back and they could stack up here towards the A side.
Again, early battle this towards showers. even though damage isn't being dealt, a lot of utility being sent in that direction. Owl drone, recon darts, nano swarms, quite a bit. And there's also a gravity well trying to suck them in. Shot Up goes flying out there with the ult and catches Cutler on the other side. Wardell with a miss. That's actually not characteristic of him across the last couple of maps. We've seen him so on point this series. And a res coming in from Rossi as well. Round's over. They're already pulling the trigger here and going for the save.
Yeah.
You can see Drone and his teammate backing off of this one. Really well played by IMT.
The idea was there. I mean, after getting the first one to bait out the Owl drone for TSM, he was actually throwing, so that was Cutler pretty much. He throws out the gravity well towards that shower side just to make sure that he could just immobilize potentially a 1v1 from a swing from Hazed. But Hazed did not expect that. I think it was Shot Up that moved in so fast into the showers and then lost that fight. And from that, the showstopper, it was still a trade that's good enough. And even then, TSM had the perfect stack. After going for the recon darts and the Owl drone, oh, okay, well, not bad here for saving your weapons, or at least attempt to save your weapons. Only Sabrosa stays alive. Made it slightly expensive for Immortals there. But I was trying to say here, there you go. So Hayes probably did not expect Shot Up to be that close after the first gravity well got pulled out from Hayes. And right there, they had the perfect stack because of the information that they didn't get towards Fountain by not spotting anybody there. 4 players already were holding towards the A side, and Wardell unfortunately missed a shot on the off angle and got punished for it.
Wardell has been feeling it the last 2 maps, really. Map 1, you know, kind of a rough one, but the last 2 maps, it has been really solid for Wardell with the op. So that shot, it was one of the few times we've actually seen JC Stani win that duel. We've been talking about it. How well has Wardell been doing in that duel when they were playing both as Jets? Obviously playing different roles now, but when they were both opping, it seemed to be the fight going his direction. Verticality is the name of the game for Shot Up, but it also is the result of his death. You've got 3 players left standing here on the attacking side, and hold on, make it just 1. Gangsta's the only one left remaining, and despite having the ult available, didn't cancel the Killjoy ult with Hunter's Fury. Could have done so.
Yeah.
But it's now a 1v4, even though there's low HP for some of these players. Gangsta spots the first target, does have Shock Dart and Recon Dart, so goes for the Recon Dart to give away the position. Shock Dart coming out next. That'll do some chip damage if he actually connects. It goes a little bit too far. And he's starting to keep his head on the swivel because he knows he could be getting flanked, but just doesn't check back in time. Sabrosa pops off big time, and a round that had massive weight for TSM.
100%. Another one of those hero buys and hero plays, basically, for Sabrosa. Before it was Wardell, this time it is going to be Yassine that's going to be able to get it. And just off that, yeah, I do understand why potentially Gangsta didn't use his Hunter's Fury, because it was not a situation where they planned it yet for Immortals, and at the same time, they knew that it was potentially a save for TSM. Because you saw the sheriff that came out, Shut Up, got some information when he pushed in too, and it's like, okay, well, technically we could still be able to win this one. And I just like how TSM was like, screw it, we're just going to push off our own lockdown without having to force players back in stack sites. We're just going to fight back against them, and it came into the upper hand thanks to the heroic play from Sabrosa. So slowly coming back into this one, potentially where Immortals could be on an eagle very soon, but the money is still right for the attacker side here.
IMT. 2 rounds up over TSM currently. Minute left on the clock for round 19. No one currently playing in hookah. Most of their pressure is focused towards long. They do have a player on site. It's Wardell with the op. Playing top can, and just can't get the second shot off in time. There's the ult coming out as well. Hunter's Fury spotting out players left and right, doing great damage. Sabrosa takes shots from the side from the ult, excuse me, and then from Shot Up as well. And you can see the call being made from Cutler and Hayes. They've realized the round is definitely lost.
Yeah.
The 5-on-2, full site control for IMT. 11 will go on the board.
I'm not sure what happened there for Sabrosa, because yes, he was getting shot down and hunted by the Hunter's Fury, but I don't know if he was like half blind. I don't know if he like half blinded himself just to try to get a pick there onto Hookah, as you saw Shut Up dance out. And look at, there's barely any damage done right now, but because you've won this round going in, I'm pretty sure for Chemicals and Shut Up, you're going to upgrade into your armor, but they're going to take the lead by 3 now with an 11-8 scoreline. So keeping these two weapons is going to be detrimental right now, or crucial, sorry, for TSM, as they're closing it right now for Immortals. There's a couple of nanoswarms towards that front side and a peek towards that back. Only Hayes is able to stay alive, and here comes that push, and no weapons are going to be saved at all here for TSM, where Immortals getting one round closer at least to series point.
They've got money on the side of TSM.
Those two weapons would have been huge.
It's awkward, yeah, like you mentioned, because they have Drone who's low on cash. They could have much easier, it would have been much easier for them, excuse me, to just hand him a weapon. And they do make an interesting decision. The op will be bought and sent to Wardell, who will in exchange gift over an SMG.
Correct, onto Hayes.
So, to Hayes. So Hayes will be an SMG armorless play right now.
There they are.
And the op will go into the hands of Wardell. So even though Hayes didn't survive, the kills that he got at the end gave him enough extra cash to make this round possible.
Yeah, and you see
that op. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, and you see the Showers control of how they played for Immortals, right? When you have those flashes, what are they doing? They're using a recon dart. They're using cyber cages, even an early camera being thrown by Chemicals, just to try to push him back on top of utility for JC Stani. So now there's no information. There's a fake Cosmic Divide going on towards the attacker side, and Hayes is on his own towards B.
Look how much utility, though, is currently in that area. He's got so much delay potential. The double molly is down. He's going to play right on the other side of this one aggressively. Not bad damage dealt considering he had just an SMG, no armor. And now he needs help. Wardell's going to go through the smoke. It's a risky play, and it pays off, as Wardell is able to at least get a kill to bring things back to an even 4-on-4. It won't stop the spike from being planted. Wardell's watching the top rope just to make sure that no one goes vertical on him. But won't be the case today. That's the wall coming down that makes me think someone could be up there.
Cosmic Divide from the defenders. So this gives them a chance to maybe push forward, but this wall is going to be like a thorn on the side here for Wardell.
That ult could be huge. And Shot Up actually gets on the other side of the wall.
No way.
They're playing this wall actually to their advantage. Look at how well this is working out for them. Everything that should have gone the direction of TSM has now gone the way of IMT. Wardell has to switch to the rifle and go through blind. Shot Up finds a 4th kill on the round. A massive ult. He peeks through the Cosmic Divide, fires the ult, and gets back on the other side. Incredible work from Shot Up here at the very end of what could be a big win for IMT. It's 12-8. They need one more round to close things out.
That was so huge there for Shot Up at the same time. Like, he was at a point where he could have died. He got dinked down to 6 HP. If Hayes actually got that kill, if he was the one that had like a Phantom or something like that, Shot Up would have never gone that ult. Shot Up would have never gone that double kill. And at the same time, it was still very well done for TSM for the retake. But the heroic play, playing through the Cosmic Divide, was everything for Immortals. Now they have no money to work with for TSM. It's map point and serious point to knock TSM down to the lower brackets and just scrambling with whatever they got. A Vandal, a Sheriff, no armor for Wardell, so it's a glass cannon with the Vandal. And can they hold it down?
Oh, Cutler dies, getting spammed through the smoke. Drone trying to do what he can with the ult and could do significant damage here. Does at least pick up 1 kill. Wardell's still on site. The Seeker is going to come out to give away positions. This is certainly winnable. Wardell's popping off with the rifle. It may not be his trusty op, but he's brought it down to manageable numbers, and it's all on Shot Up. Shot Up will get the first kill. Doesn't actually turn back to the other one despite knowing that he's there because he saw the bird come out. He killed it. But keeping his head on a swivel, going back more towards default. 45 seconds left, has time to play with.
Insane. The only rifle that was in play for TSM allows for 2 kills, and Shut Up kill noises is coming back. Makes it a 1 versus 1. It's up to Hayes with a Bucky.
Oh, he might be playing right into this, though. Hayes is right around the corner with the shotgun. So he played right into that one, expecting that player to potentially be in U-Haul. still great work from Shot Up to even get it to that point. Almost back-to-back heroic performances from Shot Up. But TSM will survive for the time being. Plenty of money left on most of the players for IMT. JC Stani does have enough to buy, but Rossi's the one who's kind of the odd man out. And it looks like we do have a pause coming through.
Yeah.
As Rossi is not moving in spawn, so hopefully it's not a technical issue.
I'm assuming he's calling because he's the IGL right now for the team, right? So JC Stani, he hasn't bought yet, so they want to know, okay, what can we do? Looking at TSM, you see that Wardell, he bought a weapon for Hayes so that because he has the Blade Storm, and somebody bought him the Judge instead. So with this now, it's okay, JC Stani, what are we doing? Are we going to go with a rifle for him? Is Rossi going to go for SMG? But most importantly, what site can we take? The only ult that they have right now is going to be a res. Are they going to try to fight for orb control where if they lose this one, they could get an ult into the next? Because they're going to be in a situation where potentially they might be on an eco for Immortals if they lose this round here. So you have to try to manage all of that right now. What's left in your arsenal? What's coming up in terms of the ultimates for the attackers for Immortals? Same thing for the defenders. Hayes is 2 away from his lockdown. It's not quite over yet, but it's still a very hard spot to be if you're a TSM player right now.
Still just waiting to figure out what's going to happen here. Man. Third map always delivers. 12-9. TSM is against the ropes, but absolutely not out of this one. You've got that ult for Wardell. You've got res for Rossi. But Shot Up being 2 kills away from his ult, it's not exactly insane to think that he could get both of them.
Exactly.
The way that Shot Up has been playing across the last couple of rounds. Look at the damage he's done this game. 25 and 15, 7,000 combat score. The closest player on his team has 4,800. I mean, that is absolutely insane. The difference between him and the closest player is almost the same as Rossi and Cutler. Like, that to me is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, even then, when we talked about how Chemicals didn't have a good game, well, look at him now, right? 17 and 14, right. Being very good there as that Cypher for the team. The rest of it are pretty much doing their job right now, and on the end of TSM, you want the ones that are able to frag, put the frags in, and it's working out. Drone currently in the lead at 19 and 14. Sabrosa doing his job as a Sky. Wardell doing his job here as the operator, although he was able to get stopped for a little bit of these aggressive pushes of the Immortal side. And now it's in a situation where he cannot have an operator, so he's going to have to count on his knives. But his knives right-click, it's on and off. We hope right now as a TSM fan that it's going to be on the on switch so that it could actually maybe come back into this game. If not, it's over for TSM, and they move down to the lower brackets.
Looks like Rossi is back moving around, so we should be good to go. And he's second now. Yep. Timer has started yet again.
So
this is a massive round. They're going to lean heavily on Wardell and that shotgun to enter or the ult, depending on what he decides to do. I mean, last time or not enter, I should say, but hold.
Yeah. Last
time we saw Wardell try to use that shotgun, it didn't pan out so well. Aiming for the head, not the body. The shotgun started haloing. This is a massive round. Immortals wants to close out the series here. Recon Dart gives a couple of pings away, and that is a big early pickup. Now, don't forget, Rossi is nearby, and they do have res.
Yeah.
So they can bring Shot Up back, but that is huge. Great way to start out the round.
Not only that, but knowing that they're facing like a series lost point, they still push 3 players towards Sands. It shows that they're keeping cool, calm, and collected, and the pressure's not on them yet. Getting that kill is huge. Forcing out a res early is huge. But also, that puts Shot Up at 1 orb away from an ult because he died. So are they going to rotate back towards the shower side to get the orb? Potentially, because they have camera already on showers too. So you're killing noise, you're running a default, you're taking control of the map, and look at that. They're slowly forcing back towards this A side, baiting out the L drone on long B, and nobody's rotating from TSM.
He's actually not going to go towards showers after all. They'll just let Chemicals take that position. They're going to move up short. Cutler is currently U-Haul, has to go big. There's the first kill coming out from Wardell with the knives. Shot Up, at least getting a trade back. The rocket gonna go out long distance as the ult did come online. Wardell is now down to 15 HP, but still left standing and
Alert
still
from
has the
showers.
knives at his disposal. And he's got Sabrosa if he can get to him to get the heal. But this setup, it's
Gangsta.
all about the flanking player. It's all about Gangsta, like you're saying. Gangsta currently over towards Showers. Wardell down to one knife. He just wants one knife to hit. But it looks like he's going to have to switch to the shotgun. Goes inside the smoke. It's actually a shock dart that takes care of Wardell. Sabrosa in position, down to 3 HP. Spike's been taken to halfway. They're trying to peek to prevent the defuse from coming through. But no, it will be the round for TSM. They barely hang on, hit double digits, and the game will continue on.
All right. I know that Lothar has been getting a bit of flack from what he was talking about with what you could do on Viper's kit. But Wardell dropping down, even though it was an accident, blocking that shock dart against Gangsta was huge right there to actually prevent and allow TSM to actually get map control onto the short side first and going for the 2 versus 1 versus Gangsta on the shower side. Went down to the wire. They get the round. Immortals is going to be on a half buy with the Sheriffs and the Shields. And you do have TSM in the lead now with the money on top of that too to eventually potentially make this a 12-11, where the ultimates are also coming out on the defender side and close to try to bring this to overtime.
Drone in position, not bothered at all by the push direction. As good as the eco round we saw from IMT was in that first half, this is nothing like it.
Nope.
You know, they definitely get decimated here.
And look,
12-11. It comes down to the wire, Alex.
Yep. And you saw it, right? Drone got 2 kills, died. What's now? Hunter's Fury because he died. So Broza picked up 2 kills, Seekers. Now they have an operator back in the hands of Wardell. They have a full gun round. They have a full gun round for Immortals too, but because he used a showstopper on that previous round that hurt Wardell to 15 HP or 2 rounds ago from shot up, you don't have that. You don't have that much an offensive ultimate right now for Immortals, so it looks potentially to be the pendulum swinging over to TSM to maybe really bring this into overtime. You're starting to believe.
Flash coming out from Sabrosa. There's players already working their way up long. Nades coming out as well from sight. Oh man, he actually catches Drone. Drone's lucky he killed that. If he hadn't killed that, it potentially could have done way more damage as Drone wouldn't have been prepared necessarily for that. Now, Drone does not get sucked into the gravity well, but the shock dart's right on the money. It's exactly what they needed. Boom, comes the flashes from Sabrosa. Actually end up hitting the wall. It's not looking so good right now for TSM. It's come down to Hayes and Wardell. 5 players remain as the B site is porous. And IMT takes advantage of those holes in the defense. And it's just falling apart here. The last remaining player, Wardell. What can you really do? Wardell's actually getting hit by pulses as the Hunter's Fury as well. They know where he's at. He's got the op in hand. Who other than Shot Up to get the final kill? 13-11 in favor of Immortals. They will take the series and knock TSM down into the lower bracket.
Give it to Immortals at least for that one there, Bob, because at that point on how they actually flushed out Drone was huge. You talked about it on the paint shells, but not only that, Drone had to stay alive. We talked about the 2 ultimates that they had that could swing it over there for the defender side. And Drone going into a corner, gravity well, shock darts. He couldn't escape from any positions in the back of the site to try to stay alive and use that Hunter's Fury for potentially a retake or preventing a plant. Then you saw we had to go for desperate plans, desperate measures for Sabrosa. Hey, Drone has fallen down. Let me just try to ult and run behind those. The signature Sabrosa play. But like you said, shot towards that wall, couldn't get the kill. And that right there was GG after the anchor site hold from those 2 players didn't pan out.
So incredibly close. Thought we were going to OT, but it doesn't end up happening. That last map was chock full of highlight moments. I have a feeling we'll see quite a bit of them here. This was a big round.
Yeah.
This was that eco that they ended up picking up. The big thrifty round win. A large bulk of the work was done by Chemicals with the Sheriff. And this was just Shot Up. I feel like most of this highlight reel is going to be Shot Up and Wardell. And Drone as well. Drone ended up stepping up really big at the tail end, but Shot Up was just popping off all game long, doing as much as he could.
Exactly.
Shot Up just putting up serious numbers.
Those highlight reels, from anybody doesn't really matter anymore when you actually get that victory, right? And that's the ones that do matter was off that player that we just saw with that last kill before the highlight reel finish, and that was definitely shot up. So I do agree with you, Mark, into that part. If you have to give an MVP right now for anybody in this series, would have to be shot up, and if you have to give a close runner-up, would probably have to be Wardell in the series too. But very well done for Immortals. So close there for TSM for tying things up, but their dreams were shattered, hopes were there, and immediately it was stopped by Immortals. So as they continue, right, they have Rossi coming into the roster. They have Rossi now also IGLing for the team. And with a team that always goes through these rotations, through these roster changes, it's still going to be Immortals coming up on top. So I put Immortals as the underdog going into the series. You have Cloud9 as the underdog, at least for me, versus T1. And then you have the underdogs that beat Sentinels on top of that too. We're having a good bracket after all going into the second challengers.
This is the crazy thing, right? Like, there's so many teams here that I think a lot of people maybe didn't expect. When we look at the bracket in just a minute, which we will, you'll see the teams we're talking about. But looking at this side-by-side comparison between Hazed and Chemicals, I gotta say Chemicals really stepped up. Sure. Chemicals' second map did not help. That second map was not good for Chemicals on a statistics level. Like, if you just look at numbers, which is one of the stupidest things you can do, and I think it's really cheap analysis if I'm being honest, like, Chemicals didn't really have a great game. We know that. But you have to look at the impact he had as Sage. We mentioned it in that game. Running all over the map to get heals in, to get reses in, he was consistently having to bring his team back to full strength. So he wasn't really worried about killing people. He was worried about keeping people alive. It was the opposite effect. But when we watched him play on his more comfortable roles of Killjoy and Cypher, that's when he stepped up big. So huge shout out to Chemicals, who stepped up massively for his team there. We'll take a look at the bracket so we can see what the matchups look like. And Vince Silly, I got to be honest, looking at these semifinals, if you had told me this would have been the semifinals even at the start of this year, I would have laughed a little bit. I would not have expected this.
Honestly, right now, again, if I'm looking at my Spike predictions, I only had the energy matchup right. Everything else has been huge right now for all of these teams, all of these players right now really stepping up, bring their A game. And like you said, yeah, the first semifinal matches, going into who could qualify in the upper bracket is Cloud9 Blue and Bucks, Immortals, Energy. I definitely would have not thought about that, right? Sentinels, my heavy favorite to move on into the finals, and it just shows how in North America all of these upsets could continue to happen no matter what tournament, and you never have really a solidified number one.
I think what's crazy too is that, you know, teams like Sentinels could get eliminated. Teams like TSM, those were the number 1 and number 2 team going back to 2020 from basically like the summer until the end of the year when 100 Thieves started to really turn things around with the new roster. But they're potentially on the brink of elimination, not having a chance to play at regional finals and get that trip to Iceland. I mean, and then, you know, you've got other teams who aren't there too. Like looking at a team like FaZe or Gen G, like these teams are also not in contention. It's going to be kind of wild, but we are going to go ahead and throw things to a break. And when we come back, it will be our final match of the day. And it's going to be an elimination match. Sentinels versus T1 to see who's going to be moving on and who's going to be sent packing. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.
That big pan.
Welcome to Decoded, where we break down all the best strats and plays from the VALORANT Champions Tour to help you in your ranked games. Today we're going to be specifically looking at the operator and how to couple that with your agent's abilities. So, why listen to me? Let's see how the pros do it. Ever notice how the Jet player on pro teams is usually the one with the operator? That's because her unique movement abilities pair perfectly with the gun to safely create openings and get those entry picks. Her tailwind dash can interrupt the post-fire cocking animation after you take that operator shot. Use this to immediately dash behind cover after you take your shots to ensure the opponents can't trade back in or punish. Jet's updraft is another great tool when it comes to operating. Use its ability to reach higher vantage points on the map where opponents are less likely to expect you. This small roof on Bind, B-site, is a great example of a sightline that updraft allows you to hold. here's another couple of locations for you guys to try. Keep in mind that other agents can also use their abilities to reach some of these locations, including Omen's Shrouded Step or Razor's Blast Packs. Now, let's hear from Baby Bay on how he likes to utilize Jet's mobility when playing that up.
I feel like there aren't a lot of other heroes that can get away with as much as Jet can with the operator. When you have the op and you're playing Jet, and you have your dash up especially, you can go for these ballsy peaks that like people don't expect you to do. You combine Jet with an op and she is a nasty hero, and it's definitely a lot of instinct that goes into it. It's a lot of fast thinking, like a lot of reactionary thinking. You know, you can get into these sticky situations and get out. Peeking into a molly and just dashing away, going for like just aggro picks on riflers all the time. Even oppers, because if they miss their shot and you take your shot, you can just dash away instantly.
Smokes and walls are an essential tool for oppers, especially on defense. They can be used in a number of different ways, like denying vision from your enemies or potentially faking your location. When holding angles like Ascent A main, try to cover the site entry with a smoke. This allows you to safely hold the angle from A heaven without being spotted by the opponents until they emerge from the smoke. At which point, there's nowhere for them to take cover. Here's a couple more locations to try.
Going up. Launching smoke.
You can also use your smokes as a bait. Take a look at how CNED uses them here to bait the enemy. As soon as he gets the first pick, the enemy team knows he's got an operator this round. At this point, most AWPers would smoke off and try and retreat to a safer vantage point. But CNED's built a little different. This is where he goes for the bait. He walks into the smoke instead of away from it and is able to catch 3 more players from Rix off guard by toying with their expectations. Now let's recap everything we've learned so you'll be ready to op like a pro in your next ranked game. As Jet, use her tailwind to dash behind cover after taking your shot. Use her updraft to reach unique vantage points and sightlines. As any agent with a smoke or possible wall, cover key site entrances to hold risky angles more safely. Or use the smokes to fake your location and catch enemies off guard. Try incorporating these pro op strats into your play and see how your rank improves. Thank you for tuning into Decoded. Be sure to tune into the VCT to learn more pro strats to bring into your rank games. No excuses now. And again, for all that information you may need, the matches that are upcoming or maybe the schedule, head on over to ValorantEsports.com. Nice and easy. And again, we'll be seeing you next time for more tips and tricks direct from those VCT pros.